Dear student, good morning and namaste. Welcome to this educational program of Join School Family, Rupandehi. It is a virtual class developed by Join School Family, and it is specially designed for the student of class 9 and 10. I'm your English teacher and I'm going to teach you English in this class. Today we are going to learn new grammatical items, that is active and passive voice. Let's begin our class without any delay. First, what is an active voice? Active voice means that a sentence has a subject that acts upon its verb. When the subject of the sentence performs the verb's action, we say that the sentence is in active voice. Sentences in active voice have a strong, direct and clear tone. In active voice, the subject performs the action expressed by the verb. Let's know this with the help of one example. The example is the teacher teaches the student. This sentence is in active voice. The teacher is the subject, teaches verb, and the student object. In this sentence, the subject performs the action, subject doing action, and teaches is the verb in active, and the student's object receiving action. And next, what is passive voice? Passive voice means that a subject is a recipient of a verb action. When the subject is acted on by the verb, we say that the sentence is in passive voice. In passive voice, the subject receives the action expressed by the verb. Let's clear it with the help of example. The students are taught by the teacher. The object of the active voice becomes subject in the passive voice, and subject receive the action in passive voice, and are taught is the passive verb and the teacher doing action. The next thing you have to know is a transitive verb. While reading the active passive, you have to know transitive verb and intransitive verb. A transitive verb is a verb that requires an object to receive the action. Generally, active voice having a transitive verb can only be transmitted or transformed to passive. Transitive verb can have both active and passive forms. Let's see the example. Look. Ram gave me a pen. Ram gave me a pen. Look. Ram is a subject, gave verb, me, and a pen is object in this sentence. I use what or when to identify the object in a sentence. If there is an object in a sentence, we can change the sentence into passive voice. So you have to identify the object. To identify the object, use what or whom. If you question what does Ram give, if you question what does Ram give, the answer is a pen. What does Ram give, or what did Ram give? A pen is the answer. So a pen is a direct object. If you question whom does Ram give, whom does Ram give, the answer comes me. Me is a object, and me is an indirect object. In this leg, you have to know the transitive verb. To know the transitive verb, you have to know the object. Next is intransitive verb. Intransitive verb, the verb used without an object is called an intransitive verb. Intransitive verb can be expressed in active form only. It can't transform to passive form. Let's see the example. The birds fly in the sky. The bird fly in the sky. If you question here, what does the bird fly? If you question here, what does the bird fly? There is no answer. There is no answer means there is no object. If you question whom does the bird fly, whom does the bird fly? If you question whom does the bird fly, there is no answer. There is no answer means there is no object. So we can't change this sentence into passive voice. The bird fly in the sky. In the sky is a complement. In this sentence, in the sky is complement. Complement talk about subject in the sentence. So this is the bird fly in the sky. So it is a transitive verb. Intransitive verb can't be changed in passive voice. Intransitive verbs do not have passive equivalent. Now structure of verb in the active and passive voice. The active structure is subject plus auxiliary verb, main verb plus object. Sometimes there is auxiliary verb and sometimes there is no auxiliary verb. So subject plus auxiliary verb, main verb plus object. This is the structure of active voice. Let's clear it from the example. Hari is writing a letter. Hari is subject, is auxiliary verb, writing main verb, a letter is object. And the passive structure is object. The object of the active voice. And after that auxiliary verb and main verb. The main verb is in part participle form. That is V3. And then by, and then subject of the active voice. So this is the structure of passive voice. Let's change this sentence. Change this sentence into passive. A letter is being written by Hari. A letter is the subject here, is being written. It is a verb in passive by Hari, agent. In this way, this is the structure of passive voice and this is the structure of active voice. Now, step to be followed while changing into passive voice. You have to follow some steps to change active voice into passive voice. Okay? The first step is the object of the active voice become the subject of the passive voice, and the subject of the active voice become the object of the passive voice. The example, Gita cleans the house. Gita cleans the house. This is Gita is subject, cleans verb, the house object, and this sentence is in active voice. Active voice. And while changing this sentence into passive sentence, the object of the active voice. The object of the active voice is the house is an object of the active voice. It becomes the subject of the passive voice. It becomes the subject of the passive voice. And the subject of the active voice. The subject of the active voice is Gita. And become the object of the passive voice. In this way, this is the first step. The first step is the object of the active voice become the subject of the passive voice. The object of the active voice is the house and it becomes subject of the passive voice. And the subject is Gita, the subject of the active voice become object of the passive voice. This is the first step you have to know while changing from active voice to passive voice. And the be verb plus past participle form of the verb, that is V3, is used in the passive form. In passive form, be verb plus past participle form, that is V3, is used. The be form of the verb are is, am, are, was, were, be, been, being. These are the be form of the verb. While changing into passive, there is be verb. After be verb, the past participle form of the verb, that is V3 form of the verb, is used in the passive. Only this much for today. Rest steps, rest rules we will discuss in our next class. Thank you for watching this video.